Yo, 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 welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's Chris Felling and I am your host, and today I am absolutely thrilled to introduce you to Matt Lees. Now, Matt, he is the owner, the founder, and the successful man behind the business RetroGaming, and he's created this from his bedroom at home, and basically what he does for a living is he buys and sells video games. Now, what such a cool gig that is, and what I love about Matt and what he's created is he not only just goes about having high quality as his mission for the business, but that represents itself in all that he's doing. He's created such a really good store, online store, he's doing the branding properly, he's doing everything with excellence, and that's what I love about it. And he's just a young gun, with an ambition, with a goal, just to, turn a childhood passion into something which is lucrative and something that hopefully will go on to make him a full-time income for his longer days. And I had no idea that he was the only one doing the operations behind the scenes for RetroGaming. And when we finally met, I was just blown away with that he was doing this all by himself. This is an awesome episode. We jump in about what it's like creating and building something from scratch at a younger age. And, we dive into about taking action, what that journey looks like, and, learning through the experience process. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you do grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, get comfortable, whatever it is you like to do when you are listening to a podcast, then get into that position. We are on the YouTube if you do want to see the visual experience. Of course, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, and a whole bunch of different places. So get comfortable and let's get into it. How you doing, Matt? Really excited to have you on here, man. I've only just recently met you, but to have you come onto the podcast and talk about your journey, I'm super excited. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me on. It was great to chat to you recently, and I'm really looking forward to being on the podcast.
No, you're welcome, man. And it comes with everything that you're doing, and you are making a standout for yourself, right? And I think it's so great to be able to have you here. And for the audience, let's just dive straight in about you. So who are you? What are you about? Let us know about you in a nutshell.
Well, I live in Port Macquarie. I've been here for 10 years. Grew up in Sutherland Shire of Sydney, then moved up here with my parents. And went to school, graduated, studying a business degree at the moment. Originally did exercise sports science, switched over, didn't really like it, and now I'm running a full-time business and loving it.
That's it. And I mean that is the short of the story, which is it's just so cool because you're only 21, right?
Yeah
21, and you've been to uni, you've been around the block, you've had a little bit of experience, but you've also taken the plunge into as you said, you've got a full-time business, which to say that at 21, there's not many people that can say that, and I think that's something to be super proud of at an early age. So kudos, dude, kudos. You're all about retro gaming, and that's your business as well, RetroGaming. So let's talk about that. Passion for video games. Where did that even come from? Because I know for everyone it's a little different, and we all get into that slightly different. But for you, how did that even start?
I don't think it was I didn't religiously play video games growing up. It wasn't like a crazy addiction I had or anything. I never even really thought about it. I think it was the mix of business with just something that I thought would be fun. And I always loved video games. I guess, I love video games. I wasn't addicted, but as a kid, that would be the most exciting thing. I remember getting a secondhand PlayStation 1 from my godmother's son, and my mum bought it. I remember I was in the kitchen at the time. I must have been 6 or 7, and I was so excited to get this console, and it was my first console. And then the Christmases after that, I got more consoles. I got Wii's, got PlayStation 2s, PlayStation 3, and then just all the fun I had with friends and just by myself, and even visiting other friends and playing their older consoles. I remember even in high school, I had a friend who just had an N64 and used to play that all the time. And it was so much fun to just, relax and try out these, older games or newer games, but they have different controls, different functions. It was always enjoyable. And eventually just the business and the fun for that just sort of combined, and here I am.
Yeah, just naturally progressed. And I mean, dude, yeah. I can hear the excitement in your voice, and I can resonate with that because I'm a bit the same, like I love video games, but I don't get to play them as much as I think that I love them.
Yeah,
Because like, you love them so much, but you don't get to play them. But even just
yeah.
unboxing something or seeing it in a store, you're just like, oh, that's so cool. But you don't have to play it to have that same excitement. So no, that's really cool, dude. I can relate to that, and I think a lot of the time the video game element does come from a childhood memory, but I know other adults that get into it, as adults. But you touched on that. You had a PlayStation, you had a Nintendo. You went through all different. What's your favorite console?
I have to say PS2. I spent too much time on that console, and the games that I go back to. I'm a huge Ratchet and Clank fan. I smashed through 1, 2, and 3. Like, they are my favorite games. I'd play them. I'd probably play them yearly if I get the chance.
Wow. That's epic.
So much fun. I've never really fully completed one, but I completed getting everything I need to get all the bolts and everything. But one day I'll probably get around to it. Maybe soon before the new game comes out. But Simpsons didn't run. It was just full of classics that I loved.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, I was a Nintendo boy fan because simply because my brother actually won one of the Nintendo 64 twin pack controller consoles from a concert. And my parents were never going to buy one, so when we got that, we were able to finally get it into the house, and then we would rent games from Blockbuster every couple of weeks. And those were the days, right? And my grandparents, they had a Super Nintendo. I can't remember if they got it from one of their daughters or but it was at their place, and every time we would go over there for sleepovers, would get out the Super Nintendo and play it, and we had no idea what we were doing, but it was just so much fun, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, just video games are it just takes you to a different place sometimes. And I see all types of different people. No matter if you have a stressful life or whatever situation you're in, you can sit down and play a video game, and it can just take you to a different place, give you different experiences, and you can have so much fun.
I totally agree, and I think there is that controversial conversation around, should we be playing video games versus, we shouldn't be, and all that jazz. But for me, I've set a goal this year to complete 3 video games, simply because it pushes me away or takes me away from all the hustle and drive to get things done. And it means I'm going to have to relax and, just have that downtime. And it still is easier said than done, because I want to do it, but I also want to do all the other stuff too. But it's been great. I've played more this year than I have probably in the last 3 years already, so I'm a happy man.
I love gaming, and I wish I had more time to game. But even in the last year, I think I played bits and pieces of more games than long ways through, because especially over Instagram, I interact with so many people, and so many people give me different ideas of, oh, you should play this, you should try this. So when it comes in, I'm like, oh, I'll give it a go. And sometimes I'll be sitting there for 10 minutes, and that's an hour, and I'm like, oh, I've got to go do some work.
Yeah, but that's actually quite interesting, and it's a good segue, because in a minute I'm going to get you to kind of give us a summary of what retro gaming is all about. But I guess having a business about all about video games and selling video games, you would probably need to know what you're selling as well in some essence. So being able to try out different things, it sounds like a fun job. But on that note, so retro gaming, your business, summarize it, pitch it to us. What is it all about, and where did it come from?
So retro gaming, we focus on selling high grade, high quality games. If you want to get a video game from your past that you want in a high quality condition, say for a present, or you just want to have everything looking as it did when it was new, that was our goal. We sort of started I started on eBay years ago back in high school, and originally I just sort of flipped and sold and just sort of had a bit of fun with it. And then sort of as more as I became a part of the community, a part of even Facebook groups, I sort of looked for that hole in the market of, I want to get away from eBay. I want to try and find something to, put some passion into. And I was like, well, no one really focuses on quality. And I found a lot of people want, they want quality, collectors want quality. And so I was like, well, why don't I try and do that? We make a website that sells, every disc-based game, it comes with the manual. You don't have to worry about there not being a manual. There's no stickers on stuff. I put so much time and effort getting rid of dust, getting rid of, stickers, making sure there's really nice cases, so that, that sort of doesn't happen.
I can only imagine. Wow. Okay. So, that's, and I think that's really good, because as, you know, someone that does buy video games, and when I want to buy things, you know, I do want that high quality. Majority of the time I am purchasing, you know, new video games. So that comes like that. But
Yeah.
in the past, especially since I've started doing reselling and, you know, doing the podcast, I've had a lot more free time. So in my backdrop, I don't know if you can see, I've, you know, started to collect, you know, just memories
Yeah,
and
it's
things
sick.
that I've always wanted, you know, and just
Yeah.
getting those boxed versions, or, you know, somewhat almost, you know, complete inbox and all that jazz. So
Yeah.
that experience, I'm never going to play them. I mean, I don't have the consoles to play half of them, but like their memories or their things trapped in a, you know, a moment of time, which I just
Yeah,
love to be able to
exactly.
have on the back wall. And
Yeah.
it's very hard to find those, and at a at a reasonable price too. So
Well,
okay,
yeah.
so with that then, so the quality of games and all that jazz, but let's talk about the business itself. So, you know, you started off reselling on eBay, and then you've moved that into the business. So, you know, when did you actually move the business into an actual business? Like how old is the business, and what's it, I guess, you know, from moving across from just reselling on eBay to then having a bit of a, you know, online storefront? What's that kind of like?
It's a lot of work. There's a lot of work involved. You know, I was pushed into launching the business. I had the idea for a long time last year, and I was pushed into it by, you know, uni, when I had an assessment that involved us starting a social media account. And I was like, you know what, stuff it. I may as well start. So I started doing social media and sort of previewed to the launch of a website for what retro gaming is now, because it was really nothing. It wasn't anything before the website. It's hard to sort of be anything when you don't have a website. And I never wanted to sort of put it through eBay, because like they just take too much of a cut.
Yep.
That it's just not worth the effort of making them, like putting the quality effort into it. So when we were trying to get there, you know, it's just lots of time, lots of effort. I collected, you know, $20,000-$30,000 worth of games, which was ridiculous at the time. Like I'm just pouring money I didn't have. Like I was getting loans off, you know, these collectors that I was friends with, and they were very nice about it. You know, I'm still paying some of them back today, like, you know, putting me on monthly paybacks and stuff. And they're very good friends of mine. And just slowly getting through and collecting all this stuff, and then launching with the website. And you know, you got to pay for a website, you got to pay for a lot of small things, and you got to do a lot of work to get there. And you know, connecting with your market as well is quite hard in the marketing wise. And you know, over time, you know, it got to where I am now, and I'm really happy where it is, and just continuing to grow, I guess.
Yeah, okay. And there's a lot to unpack there. So the
Yeah.
business, so you basically had the business from a website storefront for it must be about a year and a half.
For at the moment, we've had
Yeah.
it for 5 months on the website.
Oh
Been there
wow.
5 months.
So you were just
Yeah.
selling on eBay and like Instagram before that then?
I wasn't selling on Instagram. I was just selling on eBay,
Jeebus.
and then I sorted, yeah, it was all eBay. Sort of, you know, skyrocketed during COVID.
Yep.
It was so much fun, and I
Yeah,
was
that's
like, wow, I
true.
can make a career out of this. And then I
Yep.
sort of was like, well, I don't want to stay on eBay. It's just too expensive. Let's move. And I was like, I'll try and start a website. I knew that at the time there weren't that many great, you know, retro gaming type websites
Yep.
out there. Like you've got the Gamesman, and other places like that, but they weren't like the highest, you know, easy to, you know, maneuver around, or
Yep.
they didn't really show high, you know, photos of the items. They have a lot of stock images, and
Yep.
I was really didn't like that. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'll try something different and put in the effort, and yeah, that's sort of got to say.
Wow. So it's only 5 months. So if anyone hasn't checked out the website, and of course all this is in the show notes and all that jazz, but so when I stumbled across Matt's, when I first met Matt, which I didn't even know it was Matt running the store, when I came across Retro Gaming, the storefront, you know, this is online. It looks like it's, you know, getting managed by a whole bunch of a team, and it's high quality, not just the products, but, you know, just everything that you're seeing. And even the way that he goes about doing his marketing and on Instagram, everything is just clean and polished, and it's neat and tidy. So when I reached out to Matt, and this is a true story, you know, and then we were chatting just the other day, and I said, you know, so is it just you? And he said, yes. I couldn't believe this, right? And I mean, it's crazy because the quality and what you've been able to create it's there, right? And it speaks for itself. And I think I think you know that, and that's what's really good. But I'm not saying it's easy either. So with that in mind, I mean, we've touched on a high level of, starting it, and it's not easy work. So let's dig a little deeper, right? So at the moment you're playing the one-man band, you're the boss man, you're doing marketing, you're doing sales, you're doing sourcing, you're doing everything in between, packing and posting. I mean, how do you manage that? I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's tough. Having your own business, it's fun. Like you get to decide what you're doing, when you want to do it. You get to, figure it out. Like obviously, I'd say my eBay postage is, I try and focus on retro gaming a lot more than I do eBay, because I still do eBay.
Yep.
We have to get rid of the bad stock somewhere. So that's where it goes. And but like the eBay postage sort of gets put off sometimes. I might have to wait a couple of days. Usually I post it every day. Like I'm going through it, but sometimes I'm just like, okay, I don't have the time to post another 40 items today.
Yep.
Especially when we're doing really crazy sales. So I have to stack it up to the next day. But it's just throughout the day. Like I'm sitting in my house most of the day, and it's great. I love it. I sit down, I get to watch a movie, watch TV, and just work. And there's nothing better for me at the moment.
No, it's true, right? And I think, with that in mind, and I can relate to it because, building a podcast isn't necessarily just as simple as getting on here and recording.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's how you start, and then you figure it out as you go, right? And I think the quick message here for anyone that wants to start anything is, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. You've done business for education, you're learning on the fly as well, but that's usually a lot of the way that you're going to become successful, because you can learn anything on YouTube, you can learn anything at university, but until you experience it, it's different, right? And it's going to be different for whatever niche or business or passion you're into. So I can appreciate that it's you just gotta do it and figure it out along the way. So
yeah, for sure.
With that then, so I mean, what do you have any examples of maybe some highs? I mean, the highs you've already said, kind of in terms of that, you just love what you're doing and be able to sit around and watch something while you're packing or whatever. But what I guess some of the lows that you're facing on a day to day, or maybe that you have faced?
Well, I guess eBay did stuff me over about a year or two ago. They linked my mum's account to my account and sort of terminated me and locked me into a certain monthly limit.
Yep.
And with eBay, you can't really talk to them. You can't. Their customer service is terrible. So they were like, we can't do anything. So I thought, and that was all my life at the time, and I was loving it. And that's when I was growing, and I think I was stuck to 26 grand a month, which wasn't much, like maybe even less. It might have been 15. Okay. And I was just thinking in my head, I'm just like, I can't scale this. They won't up it. And then eventually last year on New Year's Eve, they changed it, and I was gobsmacked. I was amazed. They upped it. And then recently, only a few months later, like I think this year, they upped it again, so that now I think it's 250,000 a month.
Wow.
Which, is just that's livable. That's amazing. Like that's ridiculously scalable.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, like, because they put me on a red list. They said, no, you're never getting anything. And then eventually they just let me back in. So that was probably one of the biggest downs. Maybe my taxation as well. Didn't really look through that properly last year, and sort of went over the GST limit without thinking about it, only by an extremely small amount. And that can be very costly as well. I'm sure people look at that. Make sure you look at that and you check all that out before we're going over that limit.
But that's a good point, right? And once again, like kind of you've literally just answered it before what I had said around, you're only going to learn until you get through it, because, we hear about tax, or we know there's going to be problems that are going to pop up. But once again, until they occur, you don't really realize. And it's not like someone's here telling you, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. In the back of your mind, you're like, or whatever. But it's good to hear that, because I want people to understand that it's not all just, sunshine and rainbows. But at the same time, if you don't go through those, I guess, fail forward situations, you're not going to be able to grow and learn. And you've gone, maybe the tax one is probably a bit more of a serious situation than the eBay one. Yeah. But you can't learn until you go through it.
No, for sure. The tax, I think about it sometimes. I'm like, if you literally just looked at your tax, like I think went over by $5,000, if I just like, that was nothing last year. If I didn't sell $5,000, I wouldn't owe, nearly double that this year just in GST. And, you're stuck on that for a couple of years. I think you can't just jump off it.
Yeah.
So, I think about it, but you just got to power on, it's happened. There's nothing you can do about it. Oh, well, keep
That's
working
it.
hard.
No, and that's the right attitude and mindset. And I think there's people that would hit those roadblocks and hit those walls and whatnot, and they think that's it. I can't do anything else, right? And give up. But you're soldiering on. You're going onwards, which is great to hear. So, with that in mind, then building the business, right? It's 5 months from an online perspective on the storefront, then. And you're going through all these different things. You're doing postage, you're doing marketing, you're doing sourcing, listing, all that. So is there any types of, and you can be honest here, is it processes, systems, or are you taking the approach of work smarter, not harder, or are you still just figuring that all out?
I think it's all, I'm still learning. I do try and make things efficient as efficient as possible, obviously. And it's just, it can be really hard with so many things going on. I think Matt was saying in one of the podcasts I was just listening to, he was talking about managing even just your time compared to your life and everything like that. And I think that's the main goal that I struggle with, and I heard he struggled with as well. But figuring that out is quite important. But making everything efficient, there's so much going on all the time. Like I sleep in the house, I work here. Matt said the same thing. There's always something to do. It's hard to have a time off. You might want to go to your room, play a game, and you're just like, oh, I could be listing this. I could be taking photos with that. I could be doing more marketing. Like marketing for me is so huge. I love doing it, but it's time consuming to edit stuff. Even like on Canva, or if I go on Adobe Illustrator, it takes so much time. It can lead to sales, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it can be quite demotivating if you do something really great and you think, wow, this is great, looks good. We're going to put it out, people are going to see it, and then nothing really happens. You're like, oh crap. Oh well.
And with that, once again, it is part of that learning process, and it's always a challenge to do that. But I think the best way to do it is you're going to have to take that time to kind of reflect and review and criticize yourself, because if no one else is telling you, you got to look at it yourself. If you're spending 80% of your time doing this, but you're only getting 20% result, and you spent 20% on something else and got 80% of the result, well, you're probably better doing it on the other thing, right? So and once again, that's with trial and error, and being only 5 months into it, right? From a storefront perspective, it's still very early days to really even start to make those bigger changes or bigger decisions, because you don't really have that much data. You don't really have that much. Maybe you do. I don't know how many. You don't have to talk necessarily dollars or perspectives, but in terms of, I guess, sales, what's a monthly sale count look like?
Well, my ideal for next month is to try and get 4 to 5 just sales a day, which it doesn't mean per item, it means per person. And the great thing I love about the website compared to eBay is that a lot of people come and they purchase more items than usual. They want to save on the postage. And although I'm trying to rip them off on the postage, that's just how we have to do it. But it's great to see, someone come along, they buy, 5 items, and, not even it's so grab for me. I'm like, sweet, I got 5 items sold in one go. That's amazing. Even this morning, I had someone bought a Pokemon strategy guide, and I was just going through it like, damn, this is sick. I'm loving it. And then I wrote a nice card in there, like, oh, I'm going to miss this. This is so cool. And he just bought all these cool items. And I was just like, oh, I'm glad it sold. Sucks it's gone. But, it compared to eBay, that it's great to get those sort of sales, and three sales, and we're getting around 2 to 3 sales a day at the moment. And I'd love to try and push for 4 next month.
And that's crazy, because if people don't understand, anyone listening that's a gamer would understand the price value of when it comes to video games. But anyone not listening, you'll have things listed from as cheap as probably $12, $15, all the way up to a couple of $100, right?
Well, we try and keep our prices pretty reasonable. So we have games, especially in some of the newer consoles, like the 360 and PS3, where they haven't sort of hit that retro level yet. that there's so many copies around. We have them for like, $6, $7.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're dead cheap, and they're in the best condition you'll find. But then you've got, you go back and you look at some crazy games. Like if I think we had in a few months ago, Castlevania and PS1, and that's selling for $600. And it's just,
yeah. So you've got that huge broad. So, if someone's buying 3 or 4 things, you could be working anywhere between $21 to up to, hundreds of dollars. So it's actually quite a lot of, that's interesting to hear that. Okay. So what does a day in a life look like then? And I know you said that, every day is a bit different, but do you kind of have a routine, or if not, what's kind of like just an average day that you would be doing for people to get an understanding?
Well, I try and get at least, hit the gym, go for a walk. I love my soccer, I love my futsal. So I'm either got training or a game for either of them. I do that at least 5 or 6 times a week.
Okay.
And then I try and hit the gym every day as well. And they're my two just sort of, just get out of work. I can relax. I can message my friends, just be silly, have fun.
Yeah.
And then get back into work and be serious after that. But I'm doing a lot of story work on Instagram and Facebook, thinking of new ideas. And some days I might be lucky and get like some spare time, because most days I sort of have plans. Like today I'm doing a lot of stock, putting the new stock up for this week. So that takes up a huge chunk of my day, 4 or 5 hours. But then tomorrow I don't have really anything on. So it's, what do I put that towards? Do I look at bettering? And I usually look at towards like bettering something else. But my day is usually pretty full. I'd say majority of the time is postage, listing, marketing, and finding stock. Like just going out and picking up stock, talking to people, buying bundles. It's good fun. Love it.
Because that actually would take a fair bit of time. And, because you can, for anyone that doesn't understand how, sourcing this, because a lot of the stuff is going to be secondhand, of course, you can source from eBay, you can source from secondhand places, you can source from Facebook Marketplace, garage sales, other collectors, or people, wanting to move things along. You've got a lot of different avenues, and then going into each one of those and spending an hour or 2 hours looking, searching, and then actually going out collecting it, or especially if it's a Facebook market kind of deal, going out and doing that, it is time consuming, and it's not necessarily planned either, because if something pops up and it's a good deal, you need to jump on it then because it's going to be gone.
Yeah, well, even the other week I was talking to you about it, I picked up 800 Blu-rays for eBay, and I couldn't even put them in my car properly. She gave me 2 boxes and I couldn't fit them in the car. So I had to just sort of take a box up, just chuck it in the car, and the car was overflowing. I had to go to futsal that night. I didn't get them out, and all my friends were coming to look at the car, just look at the avalanche of Blu-rays just sitting in there. But it was $100. It was like, I listed them over the week, and, I probably put them up all in total for $4,500. Which is just insane. Like after postage and fees, like maybe you might get $2.5 grand, but like it's still just ridiculous money for $100.
It is, and to think that you're doing this as your full-time gig, but there's nothing stopping anyone else looking on garage sales, Facebook Marketplace, finding a deal like that, and just start selling it on the side. It's literally just sitting out there. And I know you and I know this really well because reselling and all that jazz, but I think people don't realize, and I'm not just necessarily talking about reselling, but there's so many opportunities with little things and skills and hobbies and side hustles that you can do that's just sitting there. But a lot of it just comes down to, willpower, action, and motivation, and just doing it, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that doesn't require skill.
No. Well, I hear a lot of my friends talk about how they want a little more income, or they want a side hustle of some sort. And I'm always telling them, just look online, find a niche or something you can, my niche is obviously video games, but I love going to the thrift store, and I love watching who are the thrifters on I can't remember
Retro Rescuers.
Rescuers. They are the best. They're amazing. They're so much fun. And they just go out, and I love doing that myself. And they've given me ideas. Like now I buy puzzles, I buy all these things, and I'm just like, it's just easy money. It's so much fun to go to the thrift store. I get great, gaming stock, and then I get to go and just look through everything else. And I'm like, this is so much fun. And
do you find you start to become, you know, the whole scenario around when if someone was kidnapped, you know, they start to fall in love with their kidnapper. So you're out, you know, thrifting, and then you realize you're buying all this stuff because you're just having so much fun, and you realize, wait, am I buying this to resell or just because it's so cool to buy?
That's fun. When you see stuff so cheap, where are you based in CBD? What's the thrifting like down there? Is it pretty expensive?
I'm about 60 kilometers outside of Melbourne, so it's
Okay.
it's pretty good. But my girlfriend lives in Melbourne, so I get best of both worlds. But I have picked up, and compliments to my girlfriend for this, I don't want to take the, you know, all the glory for this. She found Mortal Kombat on Switch and on Xbox One, both sealed, and we got them for $2 each, and that was in Port Melbourne.
What the hell?
At a Salvo's.
Really? Damn.
I mean, I've never found something that good. And she's just like, oh, I walk over to her and she's like, oh, I remember you saying if it's sealed, it's good. And I found these, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's incredible. And that's what I love. And now every time I go in, it's like looking at this, looking at that, or if you found something there before, you walk in again and you have that same feeling that you're going to find that something similar again. It's people, you just don't get it until you do it, right? But it's I mean, I went out for a cheeky one just before this. I was only meant to go to one and I went to three. I didn't really get much, but I found a couple of little things, and it's just fun. It's so exciting.
It's so much fun. You know, you don't know what you're gonna find. Like you're searching, you're looking behind every nook and cranny. Like when I'm looking for video games, like I'm sometimes checking through the CDs to go, oh, maybe there's a PS1 game in here. Like, you know, they don't know. And it's so great. Like you hit up a thrift store, you find something for $4 and you know you can sell it for 50, and you're just like, well, that made this whole trip worth it. And
100%.
You know, so much fun.
It's and we could go on for hours for this, so we'll continue on. So you know, you touched on a fair few things, and I want to backtrack a little bit. So one area was, you know, you're spending a lot of time on building the brand, right, and marketing, and you know, stories on Instagram, and obviously that's where majority of your traffic is probably visualizing and seeing everything other than your website. So with that, you know, let's talk a bit about, you know, the progress of building the brand. So you said that before you went to an online store, you were doing on eBay, and then you started a social account, you know, Instagram, and that was part of, you know, a business assignment. So can you take us through the progress of, you know, building out that, I guess, you know, what it was previously to now, and how you've gone about continuing to make that better for the audience?
Well, I think originally on eBay, I'm not sure what the name we went by. I think it was like Australia RetroGaming, or RetroGaming Australia. And like I had a business card or something like that. And it was really fun sort of just figuring out what I was doing. And, you know, on eBay, I didn't really want to make, you know, like I said, I don't really want to make the quality there. And I always knew I wanted to make, you know, the quality site. And I always had that planned. So eBay was sort of just, and I was trying to figure it out, you know, do I do retro gaming on eBay? Do I price them even higher than the website and to try and cut the loss of the eBay money? Or do I just make my own website? And so in the end, I'm just like, okay, I think I'll just make the website. We'll make eBay completely separate. So there wasn't really a transition of retro gaming came from eBay to a website and to a social media. It was more just, it started because I saved the stock up, that it was all just ready to go. And then, so we started the social media, we started campaigning, I think it was in late October of last year for the website launch. And, you know, it was, I had no clue what I was doing at the start, and it just sort of built up, and it was just so much fun. Like I was saying to you the other day, like I look back and I'm just like, God, it was so horrific. And then now I've sort of found my feet and sort of gone, okay, like it's actually like my Instagram page is sort of looking, you know, relatively nice now, you know, especially for quality. Like, you know, if you're selling quality, you got to look quality, and that's what I'm trying to build at the moment. Trying, you know, with our bright colors and with everything, it can be hard, but I you know, I love bright colors. I love gaming. I think gaming needs to be bright. It's, you know, spectacular.
Yeah, you've picked a really good color scheme, you know, the real bright purples, and it really does pick up the other colors of the video games. And like I said, you know, I've mentioned to you previously as well, but going for your Instagram feed, you know, everything does pop. It's exciting. Even the stories, there's a lot of effort going into that, but you're building that out and making it interactive. But you know, even just when you're sending out a newsletter or when you're updating on Instagram that you've got new stock, you know, you've got it all sitting around, all sitting there, and it just pops out, and everyone's like, crap, you know, what's the next stuff? And even me, I'm probably not going to buy anything, but I'm jumping on there, just having a look and seeing what new stock in case there's a chance that there's something there that I want to get. But it's kind of almost that same experience of, I mean, I'm talking from my own experience, but it's similar of when you go into a thrift shop, because all of a sudden we don't know what you're about to put up. You show it, and then, you know, you've got it all packaged up, so everyone wants to jump in and kind of find, you know, their best thing there. But do you find, or have you found, and maybe you don't have enough information on that yet, but when you do those posts of, you know, I've got 50 more items up, do you find like there's a spike of traffic or a spike of sales?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a huge spike of traffic, and it depends. I haven't really been able to narrow it down to what the main even console is yet.
Yeah.
Or even if rare games get people there. I think I'm putting up a little section of rare games tonight, and we're having a huge, you know, load of stock tomorrow. But you know, I will be interested to see, you know, I think we put a poll up a few months ago and we asked people, you know, have they come to the website, have they bought stuff? And I think it was 60% of people said they haven't bought anything because they haven't seen anything they liked yet.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's just understandable. Like you've got, and that, you know, I'm always thinking in my head, maybe these people haven't visited the site, haven't been able to get, you know, see everything. You know, there's pages and pages of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why a lot of the time I'm even trying to remarket older stuff, because I'm just like, you know, there's a lot of stock up that didn't get that. Here it is, you know, here it is, it's new, it's on. And so people might not even know that it's there sometimes.
That's
unless
true.
they come and go through the whole site.
Yeah. Plus you're working with such a broad audience, right? I mean, you know, I'm going to be interested in certain types of games, whether it's console, genre, or, you know, Star Wars, Pokemon, whatever. Whereas you got other people that they won't even touch that, and they only want a certain thing from PlayStation 1, and it has to be, you know, so like you're going to have, you know, very broad and very wide as well.
Well, like, I love the fact that I know that everyone wants a game in like the best condition, and
that's true.
At least I can offer that, you know. And I can tell you, man, I put that much effort into every item we send off. I haven't had a complaint, because
that's good.
You know, I know why, and I want to be cocky about that, because before I send off items, I'm going through it, I'm checking it, like rechecking it after it's been checked 3 or 4 times before that, to make sure it's looking the way we described it, the way we put in our condition guides, it's the way it looks in the photos, because, you know, that's what you've ordered and that's what we want to send you, like the item you've purchased.
And that's a very key point, because, you know, you are trying to bring quality games, but not just the quality games, you're bringing the quality service, the quality guarantee, and everything you're doing is then quality, right? And, you know, when I got this beanie, you know, even when I was unwrapping the box, it was just so exciting. And, you know, this is obviously different from a video game, but I can understand, as someone purchasing something, when you go through that unboxing experience and it's as good as what you saw, or if not better, because buying on eBay, you sometimes, you know, it's not always exactly what. And I know that, you know, the pictures you're taking are very consistent, very clear, very clean. But maybe a random question for you then. So on average, if you've got one, I know it will be different depending if it's a cartridge or a disc, but to clean one item or to take a shoot and make sure it's clean, how long would that kind of take? For like on average,
a game, like say a case disc in a game. Well, it can change. It depends, especially on the disc quality, because we like to make sure that all our discs are, you know, basically scratch free. I don't know if you purchased any disc based.
No,
games.
I haven't purchased anything yet. No.
So all the games that we get, I put them through the disc cleaner and make the time to make sure that the most of the scratches are all just gone.
Right.
And that makes them, you know, play. They look great. Like if, you know, we could send them out if they're working with scratches, but then, you know, another scratch might get on it and that might fault it. And because, you know, there's already a deeper scratch that it's sort of compounded together. That's I just want to make sure that they're perfect. You know, I'm just trying my best to make them as new as possible. But yeah, getting a case, say we get an Xbox 360 game, usually, you know, it depends on the game. You get Halo 3, you know, some kids played the hell out of it, and you might have to clean it for 10 minutes in the machine, which, you know, costs a bit of money. But it'll get it to the condition. Then you got to go through the case. I'll wipe up the dust off the cover. I might have to peel a sticker off and, you know, do it as nicely as possible to make sure it doesn't leave any damage.
Yep.
And, you know, if the case is crap, I have to get another case, bring that in and switch it out and make sure.
There's a lot of work there, dude.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's good. I mean, and that's part of, you know, the service and value that you're bringing, which, you know, that's what it's all about. And, you know, that's what you should be proud and have pride about, because, you know, when we get that, that's what we expect. But once again, I don't think people really can understand and appreciate it, of how much work goes into it. I mean, I sell a lot of different things on eBay, and, you know, I'm trying to make sure I'm packaging it right, you know, that it is in good condition. But because I have so many different things, you know, everything's different of how you clean and how you manage it, or how you do this and how you do that. Whereas, you know, I guess for you, you'll be able to, once you've done, well, for your CDs, you can do it with cleaning. You know, you're going to have your solution of how you're going to peel those things off. You're going to have your, you know, obviously, you know, some backup, you know, cases and stuff, so you can switch it out. So over time, it's going to get quicker and quicker and quicker. But I was more just very curious, because it's not, I don't think people can really understand what that takes, because if you're saying 10 minutes cleaning that, it could be 5 minutes getting a sticker off. And then that, you know, by the time you've done one listing and photos, it could be half an hour. And I know it's not going to be that for everything. Some things are very quick and clean.
Well, a lot of the games, like if I get a group of disc games in, a lot of the time I might even, especially if the cases have stickers on them, or I know that it's going to take time to get the stickers off, I know that the cover, the manual, and the disc are all good. I take all of them out and put them in a box. And there's literally a cupboard, I'm looking at it right now, full of, I think maybe 16 boxes, and they're square 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter boxes. And they are just full of maybe 30 or 40 games each. Yep. That I just haven't gotten around to. That's from, you know, last year, because we have so much stock. Like I have so much stock that I just don't have the time to get that quality, like, and clean all of them. And, you know, it's a lot of manual labor, and I love doing it. It's just finding the time. But it's great because, you know, I don't have to be really on edge of, I need to find stock this week. It's like, well, I can sort of just go to the cupboard if I struggle. And I do want to get a lot of it out. I don't just, you know, tear out the rare stuff and put it all up, which I think about doing all the time. But, you know, there's heaps of, like, there's $100 games just sitting in those boxes. That,
it's a fair point, because, you know, if it's there, but if it's not listed or not, you know, not on your shop, you can't actually have the opportunity to sell it, because at the moment it's kind of like dead weight, or, you know, lost opportunity. But at the same time, it's also good to have that backlog, because let's say we went into another lockdown, you know, heaven forbid, you're going to be loaded, right? For me, I can't go out to a thrift shop, it's going to be closed. So, you know, having that backlog, I think, is very, very important, and it, you know, has its huge benefits. Dude, that's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. Can I mention, though, there was, when talking of like highs of last year and talking about lockdown. Last year, I think it was March or April, I'd saved up, just because they didn't sell a bunch of Wii consoles for eBay, maybe 30, just like all shoved in the cupboard. They were the console that I was just like, they don't sell. I just buy them for the games. And that was it. And then I started putting them on eBay with these really nice photos. And I think this is when I started getting into the quality of, this is how you market. And I took a really nice, clean photo of them. Like, the console came with Wii Sports and a couple of things. And I was able to sell the consoles. I think I sold over Easter weekend in April, maybe 12 or 13 consoles for 150 each. And I had to raise the price. I think it even got to 200 at one point. And it was just insane. My dad and I were in the back room all day on Monday, and I had to get him to help me, because I was like, Dad, I can't do this. There's too many. I hadn't tested them. Like, I knew they'd all work, but I had to just go. I had to test the console. Okay, pack it, put it in the box. Dad wraps it up, puts a label on it. It was so much work, but there was, you know, 1,500, 200, $2,000 in there just over.
But I mean, that's the exciting part of it, right? And you have those waves, and it's very interesting because, I know Switches, you couldn't get them anywhere, which makes sense that people would jump straight to the next closest thing, which would be a Wii. And it's funny because, you can pick up Wii's for like $20, $40 everywhere. Like just,
Yeah.
a lot of people just throwing them out. They were cheap as chips. I know they've started to go a bit more back up because they are getting that older generation slightly now. So it's that, dude, those stories is the stuff that I love to hear, because it's in those moments where you must have been like, it's like, wow, I've hit the big time, or I'm doing something right, but it's also very overwhelming and stressful at the same time. So you've got all these mixed emotions.
Yeah, I was sort of like, oh, I'll just save the Wii's. One day they'll be worth something. And then they sort of just, I was like, maybe they're worth something now. And it sort of worked out. And I still do that on eBay, and I still have a cupboard full of 20 Wii's. They sell for a lot cheaper now. It was just the huge COVID spike. But it's I couldn't believe it at the time. I was just like, I've hit the jackpot. I've saved up this many Wii's for this reason, and now I've got a crazy amount of money flowing in.
It's all paid off now, dude. That's totally awesome. So a quick other question, and then we're going to move on to some other things as well. But I wanted to, and you can share very broadly if you want to, or however you want to say it, but can you give us some view or understanding of, like, from when you first started, like what was an average month compared to now that you've been doing it for a bit longer? Has the dollars increased in terms of an average?
Talking eBay or RetroGaming?
I'm talking RetroGaming.
Okay, so we had a pretty good starting month, like and at the time, I was talking to you a bit the other day about our prices were a little higher at the time, and we sort of lowered them over time as our operational costs have gone down. And we had to start high. We just put so much money into it. And so, we had a good month, and then it's sort of the next couple of months, there were some periods, like I think March was probably our least, because I don't know, everyone gave me different reasons. Everyone's paying back their Christmas bills and stuff like that. And I'm just sort of like, it shouldn't matter. But, I think we're getting a couple, maybe 3 or 4 sales a week.
Yep.
And it was sort of just really slow. And then I sort of started picking up on the Instagram and how to market properly. And I think after that, so it was, 3 or 4 sales a week compared to 3 sales a day is where we're at now. So like it was a bit of a huge jump, and that's only what 2 months ago.
Well, yeah. It's and that's why I kind of want people to hear that from you, because obviously you're the owner and doing everything, but just so people can understand that it is quite possible to be able to do something with passion and scale, and obviously it's hard work, and make some numbers from it. Now, I'm not saying that anyone can just go do their niche and they're going to be pumping out numbers like you're doing, but they might pick something else and they'll be doing less, or they might even be doing more, right? It's going to be different per niche, but it just comes down really to, execution and getting it done. And of course, you took the decision not to, do a job and work somewhere else. I know when we first chatted, you said you were working at Woolworths originally before you went full time with this. So you've never really been into, a full corporate gig or a full-time gig other than Woolworths, which is fine. And I want people to understand that, you do not have to go through, go do 5 years at uni, go get that big job that everyone tells you need to get. If you've got an opportunity to do something like this, that you're passionate about, that there's an interest, and that there's a few dollars being made at the same time, well, then you should go for it, because you're better off trying to, have that experience younger rather than waiting to 40 and having all these regrets, because you can still do it then, but time has a big factor to play with it.
You just can't be scared of failure. It's it's like talking to the girl you've always wanted to talk to. You just got to do it. If it doesn't work out, oh well, like you move on.
Well, that's it. You won't know unless you have the conversation.
Unless you try. Like it's always going to be a no until you ask something. So
it's very it's a very key point.
but even with my degree, like I sort of got pushed into it by my parents, and I tell a lot of people that I learn more from my business than I do my degree. And I go to uni to maybe just learn a few things to put into the business. Like, I'm lucky that business comes naturally to me, and that I can pass a lot of my subjects without even doing a lot of study, because I can sort of just, I sort of just know what the assessments, I can base it on my business and just smash through it really easily. That's true.
But well, that's actually a fair point, because a lot of the time you don't get the experience till you've finish the education, whereas you're kind of doing the experience while doing the education, and you're able to apply it on top, which gives you kind of an unfair advantage, but it's a good advantage.
Well, it's great. Like I'm doing a marketing services at the moment. I'm getting to, we're looking to launch a disc cleaning service in the next couple of months, and I'm getting to focus the whole marketing service on that.
Yep.
And my lecturer kindly let me do that, and it's great. I get to put the knowledge that I'm learning in class to what and I don't sit down that often and write out a huge a huge document on
Yep.
this is the process of how it's going to go and this is how it's going to work. But business and doing uni gives me that time to think about it in depth of, oh, that might be an issue, or how can I fix this?
Yep.
And which it's great. I love it. The mixture of both. That I definitely apply more of this to my uni than uni to this, I'd say.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? And we started with that. Getting into the experience is the quickest way you're going to be able to learn, right? Getting into that experience. So, I mean, we've touched on so much, and I guess like it's a good time to mention it. So you're wearing a beanie, I'm wearing a beanie. Now I picked this one up from you, but I want you to share, because I know there's a good cause behind it. Help us understand what's the cause behind it, and where did that idea come from, or is there a personal story to it, or what?
So the beanies were made, I think we launched maybe a month after we launched, and all the money, all the profits, and soon all the money actually of the beanies, I'm going to put a lot of my money in towards it, because I want to donate a lot more to the cause, especially winter coming in now. All the money goes towards the Leukaemia Foundation, who my nephew in, I think, what's the year, 2019, he got diagnosed with leukemia, and it was very hard on my dad and me, and I just thought, at least I can support that cause in some way, and he lives quite far away from me. I don't get to see him very often, but I thought, what, I'll try and do something to a charity, and that was to, it was close to my heart, and I thought, beanies, why not? It was midsummer when we thought about the beanies, actually, and we just thought they were a great idea.
Yeah,
and everyone loves them. I have
them.
friends who love them, and they're so comfy. I can't believe how well they came out.
It's it's always one of those things, right? You're like, oh, but no, they're really good. I mean, we're both wearing it, and I mean, I've had this one, it must be about 4 weeks now, probably, and I'm wearing it every second day. I've only got 2 beanies, so I'm always going between the two, and it's really comfy. And you're right, coming winter, it's even more perfect. But I think I wanted to really bring that up because you're not only bringing a quality service, and you're hustling and getting so much done, but you've also, and with any good business, there's always other things that you're doing as well. And to hear that you're giving back already, and integrated into that, I really wanted to hear the full story from yourself, and if it was personal or whatnot. And thank you for sharing that. And I think it's really key that whenever we're doing something and creating something, and you are successful, it's great to be able to share that success with others. And we don't have to necessarily say we donate or whatever, but finding a way that we can give back to community, I think it's super important. And it's very encouraging that you're doing it. So good work.
Well, thank you very much. I love sending these off. Whenever people buy them, I'm so happy. Like I'm livid. I'm like, yes, a beanie.
And so people go buy one. Go buy one.
Go buy a beanie. Come buy a beanie. They're awesome. They're sick.
That's it.
They're so comfy.
They are. They really are. So the next thing, before we jump into some rapid fire questions, is there any area of focus at the moment? It can be whether it is focused on the business, whether it's personal, but what's your current goals? Maybe for over the next year or by the end of 2021. Is there anything that is a priority at this point?
Like I'm focusing a lot on my fitness, on my soccer. I've never been the most amazing at my soccer. I've never put a lot of effort towards it, and I've sort of thought, getting into my early years, my 21, like this is my prime time. I'll put in the effort. And sadly, a couple of weeks ago I had an injury, so I've been off the field. But that sucks. But I hit the gym. Like, just trying to stay fit, stay healthy, and it comes with that. And I love working in the business, and you need to match your free time, your social time, and your business time. It's really hard. So I guess I'm trying to focus on my friends and getting more social life in, without getting going out and having too many crazy nights, but just even just seeing friends and, calling them up. Like I have a lot of friends that have moved away from Port Macquarie. So
Right.
I have to, give them a call and say, hey, how are you? And, have a chat and plan some time to meet them and stuff. And, it gets hard when you have your own business because, you got to do this all the time. It's hard to find the time off to see a lot of people. And
yeah, that's really good, right? And it is very easier said than done, right? Finding that work-life balance, whether you're working for yourself, working for someone else, because yeah, you're right. You kind of touched on it. You've got to manage the business, you've got to manage yourself, you've got to manage your social life, whether that's friends, family, loved ones. And it's a triangle. And usually unfortunately it's two parts of that triangle that will get the most, right? To get that third, it's even harder. I know it's very hard just to get one done, but it's a big challenge, and it's great to be able to hear on that. And I think it's important that we all find different ways to do that, whether it's you getting out doing the sport, going to the gym, having a conversation with a friend. And it's different for everyone. It's no right or wrong way, but it's definitely a huge thing that I think we can all do better with. So good luck with it, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I also think it's very, you need to be comfortable with yourself, getting, as I grow older, I feel like I need to be more comfortable with myself and finding the time outside of business to focus on myself, like in the gym or going out soccer training, or that free time that I get. Like it's, it's my time. I need to relax. And sometimes it can mean, not being on your phone to find a bundle on the marketplace that you want to get to make some money. Cause you got to focus, you can't be, on Instagram. I love talking to people and interacting with people on Instagram, interacting with posts and comments and other people I follow. But, sometimes you just have to go, okay, I'm here with my dad. I'm out for a walk. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the time. He's not going to be here forever. He's a lot older than me. I got to respect that and, enjoy that time.
Yeah, it's a fair point, and it is. There's no simple answer to it other than to just try and do a little bit better each day, right? So no, that's really good, and I think that's important for people to hear, because it's not I'm a bit older than you as well, and it doesn't get easier as you get older, and it's not easy when you're younger. But the sooner you can start and have that good practice and routine in place, it will mean it's easier to make sure you've got it as part of your life. So no, that's really important. Thanks for sharing that.
That's okay.
All right, let's jump into the rapid fire questions, and try and answer these as quick as possible. I mean, if you do want to dive in, that's fine as well. But the idea is that you can kind of just like bang, bang, bang. So the first one, favorite book you have read or listened to?
Hunger Games: Catching Fire. Ooh, or Ready Player One. It's got to be a mixture between both.
Both very good. Both very good.
Yeah.
Advice you would give yourself as a teenager?
Don't worry what people think. Everything Gary Vee says, just gotta do your own thing as you get older. Like, no one's gonna care about you in 1,000 years. So don't worry about people care about you now.
Yeah, no, it's good advice. Good advice. Now, I think we covered this one. So favorite video game to play?
I did say Ratchet and Clank, but I got some new games that are pretty good. I have to say I spent a lot of time on Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and 3. So they might be top for me, like just the hours, and even when friends come over now, like we're like, let's play some zombies and just smash it.
That's good. It's good to have that diverse range. All right. So outside of business, and you have touched on this already a bit, so how do you spend your time outside of business?
I like to go for walks, gym, movies. I love movies, love films. I try to read, video games, love soccer. Like I'm out doing something soccerish every day, touching a ball every day. Love my dog. Got a little Cavaliers laying down, sleeping right next to me now, snoring. That's it. I go, like, I live in Port Macquarie, so I go to Sydney every little while and go down and have a great time down there. Go out and have fun, do a bit of partying, catch up with some friends. That's probably it.
That's it. No, that's good. Just like a normal person, like anyone else, and it's good to hear you've got that good broad range of different things. All right. The next one is biggest challenge to date.
I'd say getting RetroGaming up, like getting it up, was so huge. Like just getting everything online on like all the stock on the website. Like I think I probably had 500 or 600 items up, and I put them up all within a week. I skipped out on Christmas. I didn't go to Christmas in Sydney with my family because I had too much to do. And I just said, no, I can't spend the time. Like, it wasn't like I'd left it. Like, I sort of knew, and I was just like, I don't think I'm just going to be able to make it this year. And it sucked. I did do a bit of a Zoom call in for lunch, but I was literally just sitting there listing for days, and it was ridiculous. Like, I didn't give myself any time. I was just smashing monsters and having a good time watching movies. But
yeah,
it was tiring and a huge effort.
Yeah, no, dude, and I can understand that. People, if you haven't seen his website, I mean, go check it out because it is very high quality. So it speaks for itself. All right, the last one then is one product you can't live without, and it can't be video game related.
What do you got? Maybe probably soccer ball.
Yeah.
I couldn't live without soccer ball. Like,
Yeah.
I love it too much.
I was going to say, I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be the soccer ball.
Yeah, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's good. All right, man. So we've touched on so much stuff. I mean, I would love to unpack so many different things. And what I'm really excited to be able to do is continue to follow along your journey. And I'll be watching regardless. But, come back in a year's time and see where everything is, because I think, it'll be exciting to see how much, you've grown, the brand's grown, and all that jazz. So I'll be watching earnestly. And, before we leave, I kind of wanted to give you the chance to kind of, if you wanted to leave one thing or one takeaway that you wanted the listeners to, walk away from this episode, what would you want to leave them with?
I had no clue what I was doing at the start. This is a 5-year journey, and it's, you learn a lot over the time, but I think you press it in nearly every episode. It's, you just have to start, do it. Don't worry what people think. Don't worry what your friends from high school think, what your friends that, you follow on Instagram think. Just do it. Jump in, have a go. If it doesn't work, what happened? It doesn't matter. Like, you've tried something, you've done something with your life, instead of just, if you're sitting there pondering it forever, you're never going to know. And, that's what I fear is sitting there and never doing something. I really want to skate. I'm worried I'm never going to, but I'll give it a try. I might break an arm doing it, but it's going to happen soon.
and that's good, right? And I think, that's been something that we've touched on quite a lot through this whole entire episode, right? And I think everyone, as I said near the start, right, that find something that you're passionate about, find something that you enjoy, and give it a go. Give it a little, put the feelers out, test it, and see what happens. Because as you said, Matt, the worst that can happen is, it doesn't work out, but right? It's better to get that, move on, and tackle the next thing, right? So no, that's some good wisdom there, man. It's like I said, I'm very excited to be able to follow along.
Yeah, so, like, the best thing that happens is it works out and you're living your dream, like your passion. Like,
that's right.
Could anything get better than that?
100%. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it's true. I mean, you're the example, and that's why I wanted people to hear from you, right? Because you really do bring all that. And I know you are early days, and you're not the perfect, you're not the expert, but you've created something which presents that. And I think that's really special, and it's important for people to hear it. So the last thing then is, where can people, and all this will be in the show notes, but where can people follow you? What's your Instagram? And
it's RetroGaming, retrogaming.au, or just look up RetroGaming. You'll see the bright logo that we have up here, shining on the thing. Looks great. And give us a follow. We have new stock. We have heaps of giveaways. We just had a huge Tony Hawk giveaway, and I think we have another one this week coming up because we got 3,000 followers. And nice. It's we're killing it. We're loving it. We're having heaps of fun. Come join us.
That's it. No, that's really good, man. Really do appreciate you being here. It's been great having a chat, and I know that we'll be continuing to chat more and more. And thanks for being here, man.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers. So there you go. What an awesome episode. And Matt, he's such an awesome guy, just an everyday fella, just like anyone else. And that's what I love about it, is you have no excuse not to start anything. And he is the living flesh of, being someone that is able to take the step and just make it happen. And it's not easy. We talk about some of the different things which have been a bit of a struggle, challenge, and we also talk about a lot of the high points and the exciting things that he's able to do because of this lifestyle that he's created. Now, he is in his early days, so I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I think it's going to go up, 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 up. However, make sure you do go check out his stuff. Go over to his store. If you're into video games, go purchase something. And if you can, leave a note, say that, you came over from the Further Your Lifestyle podcast. But if you have a question, reach out to him as well. And he's a really cool guy, just in general, right? And that's what I think is represented in the business itself. His passion, his love, and his pride around video games. And that's what is represented. So super excited to have you here, Matt. I was so honored to be able to have the conversation with you and chit chat. It's been a lot of fun. So wishing you all the best, mate. And for everyone else that's been listening, I really do appreciate you being here and listening to these conversations, because that's what it's all about, enabling you to hopefully find something that inspires you to take action and pursue your dreams, your goals, your passions or hustles, or to have that change of lifestyle. Appreciate you being here. And my name's Chris Furling. I am the host of the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, and it's been an absolute pleasure having this conversation. You have a good day.